Cowboys and Coffee podcast is back again. Listen, post week 2, we're getting ready for week 3. It's been a great start for the Cowboys. I had a coffee earlier today, and it was much needed. And I am happy to not be drinking coffee now because it's 7:30 at night. You have your coffee today, D?
I just had some a little while ago. It was perfect. Absolutely. Um, and I didn't have it late at night, so I'll be fine.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know what else is beautiful? What the Cowboys just did to the Jets in week 2 in Dallas.
I'll tell you what else is beautiful. Me beating you in fantasy football. You think I was going to forget that, don't you?
I was lucky.
We can move on.
Upstart. I'll be honest with
We can move
everybody.
on. We move on. We can move on. I got that.
I'll
Go.
tell everybody in 2 leagues, I started off and I picked Tyreek Hill. Excuse me, I picked Jamar Chase instead of Tyreek Hill, and right now that's the difference between me being 2-0 and me being 0-2. Now my designated report league, which this is on, I'm 2-0 and I'm taking care of business, so it really doesn't matter. I'm slaughtering teams. So and I've started Justin Fields 2 weeks in a row, who stinks. But this isn't the Bears and Coffee podcast. It's the Cowboys and
No.
Coffee podcast. We can talk about that bum at some other time. We're talking about the Cowboys dismantling of the Jets and a 30-10 victory in Dallas to improve to 2-0. Tell me, D, what's impressed you so far after going from 40-0, 30-10? What's the most impressive part of the Cowboys start, specifically game 2?
Well, I'm going to go back to what my statement was that I've told you about success in the NFL. It's called time of possession. That's what Moore did not have. Time of possession and no turnovers means victory. Simple as that. They dominated time. The Jets, as great as defense they have, they're incredible. I love that defense. Oh, those guys tackle. They know their assignments, everything. They couldn't stop the Cowboys. See, they couldn't get the Cowboys off the field. So that was the difference. The quarterback is another issue for another part of the game, but they couldn't. There was no three and outs. There were none.
Yeah, and the Cowboys really took care of business. The Jets cut it to 10-7, and they needed to come out in that second half and shut the Jets down. They didn't let them get back in the game. They had the Jets went right for a 3-and-out in that second half. And from then on, Dallas was really in control. And really, it was only one broken tackle that led Garrett Wilson to the score. Otherwise, the Cowboys dominated the game. 42 minutes of possession for the Cowboys versus 17 and change for the Jets. That's exactly what you've been screaming for years. That's what we've been all been screaming for years. You know, you don't let the opposing offense, get in a rhythm. They stay cold, and the defense gets worn down. It's an excellent Jets defense. The Cowboys still put up 30 points. 30 points on them, that's not easy. And there were no points off turn. There was no defensive touchdowns or special teams touchdowns. Cowboys took advantage of some interceptions late in the game, but they were taking care of business day in, day out, play in, play out. Tell me about Mike McCarthy and his play calling. We said it's light and day from Kellen Moore, thank God. And Chargers fans are figuring that out now. Tell me, what impressed you? What was there an area that you thought, wow, I can't believe this is happening?
Well, it's balance. That's what we need. You run the ball to set up the pass, or pass the ball to set up. Either way, you want balance. I don't think defensive, and this is the best defense. This is better than Philadelphia's defense by far because the back end of the Jets is incredible. The reason why I didn't take shots downfield is because those safeties they know their assignments. They weren't going to get fooled on anything. They weren't coming up. They're going to stay there. They have a balance, and they're physical up front. The Cowboys are physical up front. And Pollard hasn't got started yet. And CD Lamb has 200 yards of passing off yardage already, and he just hasn't got started yet either.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that
Right.
Dallas still does not have a receiving touchdown from their wide receivers, and they've put up 70 points.
Right.
They've really only started to get better. They did this without Tyler Smith at left guard. They did this without Brandon Cooks at wide receiver. They did this without Jordan Lewis as in the slot, and they did this without Donovan Wilson as another safety. They have more weapons coming back. They're going to be even better. That's why I think everyone else should be scared of what the Cowboys are going to do. They're only going to continue to grow the next couple weeks. They get 3 out of those 4 guys back. It's going to be tough. I'll tell you, a lot of people complained about the Cowboys and their play calling in the red zone. And I thought that's Mike McCarthy did an excellent job scheming up exactly what he wanted. He thought, I can beat this team with field goals because they're not going to be able to score. I'm not going to give them turnovers and prevent my team from putting points on the board. And they played very conservative. They played almost lateral football towards the red zone. After seeing what they did to Josh Allen the week before, I think he schemed it that way to ensure that this team could not have any life. He sucked the air out of the room, and the Jets had no shot in the second half.
Well, I remember the one touchdown that Ferguson was wide open in end zone. The call was made; he was open, and Dak missed the easy layup. That was a layup. He missed that. The call was there. That's now. That's what we're talking about. That's another score. You know,
Correct.
He didn't score. I get it. But the call was there. He was open.
And you know, Luke Schoonmaker gets his first touchdown, but I believe it was a Hendershot. They had to end around, and you could tell the difference between a running back or wide receiver and the tight end. If he just cuts it upfield, well, that's a touchdown right there. He tries to stretch it outside and get stuffed, and they don't get it. People were trying to make that a deal of, well, Zeke's not on the team. No, now would I have rather seen a QB sneak at the 1 to just get in? Yeah, but I'm not really worried about that. I think part of it is playing with your food. Part of it is, you know, seeing what you can do. McCarthy, very creative play calling. I love what I've seen from him, and not just in the red zone. He's been able to scheme guys open. If you see some of these routes, he, you know, will fake or have Dak make first read left on a slant. If slant's not there, he already has a swing pass out to the right side of Rico Dowdle, and Hunter Lupke's his lead blocker out there. Hey, they got something. Those
was a great execution.
Because you have different
great execution.
The defense has no idea what to plan for. They're utilizing the entire field, and I think it's definitely been to the benefit of Dak Prescott.
Well, let's go back to Pollard. I don't want him carrying the ball 30 times a game. Okay, we don't want that.
I don't think he needs to with Rico Dowdle
because there's not much of a drop off at the backup. Sorry, it's not.
Dowdle runs very hard.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think this leads into really what running backs hate is that you don't need to spend elite picks to get elite play. I mean, Tony Pollard, 4th round pick. You know, Rico Dowdle, what was he? 7th or undrafted free agent?
Yeah, I think he's undrafted. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about guys who are going to get you excellent production. What do you need to spend these high draft picks on? You take them, you take your money, you spend it elsewhere. And the issue is if you're spending the money on these running backs, Saquon hurt his ankle. Josh Jacobs looks awful. We see in the Browns game, Nick Chubb out for the year. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Austin Eckler's missed time. The 49ers got to be knocking on wood or something to make sure Christian McCaffrey stays healthy because, you know, you rely on these running backs and, they're not doing it, and they're replaceable is the thing. They're replaceable. And the Cowboys, I think, have improved this year with Pollard taking the lead snaps and Dowdle as the backup, as opposed to Zeke and Pollard from last year. I mean, tell me. Go ahead.
Well, that's what you're doing. They have they're speeding up the game. Dak light set style. Okay, they'll take their shots down the field. That's going to come. McCarthy's going to put that in there. It's going to come. Boom. You got the guy Talbert. He's a player now. You know, we're not saying he's a Pro Bowl player, but he's out there, got some first downs for you. The pass interference in the end zone. You know, he goes on the field now. You know he can catch the ball. Last year, you're like, what is he doing on the field? Might as well put Zachary on the field. Which is Zach is my son who doesn't like sports.
You know, the modern NFL has kind of fluctuated to this too high safety look that stopped teams from going over the top. You look at it's really changed since Mahomes came in and started throwing deep balls to Tyreek Hill in the last few years. I mean, last year I think Patrick Mahomes'
Right.
average touchdown pass in the air was like 5 yards. You know, people are taking away the deep pass and they're making you beat them with singles and doubles and triples. But I think that plays into Dak Prescott's strengths because he's excellent at reading the defense pre-snap. And now Mike McCarthy has added in a ton more pre-snap motion. So the defense has to tell you what they're doing. Well, that plays into Dak's ability to know where to go with the ball. He's reading the defense well. He's able to put the ball where it's supposed to go. And again, Cooks is going to get back in there. Gallup is still playing back in the street. Tolbert's reasonable. The tight ends are good. The running backs are playing well. You're getting an offensive lineman back. I think it's exciting to see what the Cowboys just did to a top 3 defense in the NFL and move the ball up and down the field. They got first down after first down, even on third and long. 5 times they got first downs on third and long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What they wanted.
Yeah.
The defense. We know Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons, who is all world. Who else has shown you something on that defense? I mean, everybody, but give me someone else you're keeping an eye on so far.
Well, listen, yeah, the other D tackle 97, he's coming along. He's upped his game. They're putting him in a position to get into their gaps, and he's got 3 sacks and he's producing. And that's what you want. You want your leadership to, and this is what competition. You go back in the 90s, Michael Irving, when you got on the field, you competed, and you had Dion and those guys. Everybody of those guys competed. Charles Haley, they compete. You hear Micah Parsons talking about, we've been competing, we're pushing each other, and it pays off.
Yeah.
When it pays off, when you go on a football, when you on the field and you take your opponent and you smash him. I'm not happy 70-10, by the way. It should be more. and that's
That's what Micah Parsons does, though.
Right.
He makes sure there's no trap game. He's coming for everybody, every single game, every single play, and it's unacceptable to not do the exact same thing. It's unacceptable to not go out there and bust your butt. And that's the culture that's been built here. They're trying to kill everybody. And I think that it showed. The Cowboys only blitzed 5 times in the entire game, and they made life hell for Zach Wilson. And Bart Scott said, the Jets are going to run for 200 yards in the Cowboys. Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook ran for 2.0 yards per carry.
I mean,
2.0.
He didn't say, I think the Jets should run the ball and can.
Or could.
He put that number out there. He put the number out there. Come on.
The idea that you can just run on the Cowboys, I think, is being put to rest. Hankins is very comfortable in this defense. Mozzie's been showing up. You know what I love to see yesterday? Neville Gallimore out there busting his butt, chasing down backside tackles.
That's right.
He was actually there on the play when Micah does the strip on Breece Hall. You see Gallimore booking it down the line of scrimmage. That's a big hustle play. He's a big boy. That's what you like to see every single play. And because they have enough guys to keep them fresh, they can keep doing that, whether it's Dante Fowler Jr. coming in and playing, Sam Williams. Tank Lawrence is one of the best graded defenders and defensive ends in the NFL this year. He was eating those guys alive. Mekhi Becton's a big man.
Yes, he is, yeah.
Tank Lawrence took him to school this week.
Right.
It was a tough look for the Jets. You know, again, they had the one score off a slant that the Cowboys, speaking of, Trayvon Diggs has benefited so much from Stephon Gilmore. You have a QB rating, a passer rating of, when you throw out Trayvon Diggs, of 1.0. If you took the ball and threw it straight into the ground every single play, you would have a passer rating of 39. That's how dangerous it is to throw at Trayvon Diggs and the secondary, but specifically Diggs now. Tell me about the secondary, D.
Well, I do believe it. Let's go back, because I'll tell you what I predicted is not right now so far. But I did predict. She said, "Who was my guy?" And who did I tell you? I've been telling you for years. We need a Herb Alley. Have I not said that for years?
Stephon
Okay,
Gilmore
he's
right
got a
now.
ring and he's up the back seven's defense. He's up the game like Herb Allen did for the Cowboys from Green Bay. How about being with the Packers and going to the Cowboys and win a Super Bowl? Okay, that's what we're talking about here. Now, here's the scenario where you're gonna when they play the Philadelphia Eagles, that's their challenge. Those guys. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you look at the Eagles, they have not passed the ball well. They're a power running team. They have not passed the ball well since former offensive coordinator Shane Steichen took over for the Colts. And you see what he's done for Anthony Richardson and even Gardner Minshew when he took over last week. Those guys are playing very good football, at least at the quarterback position. They definitely need more talent. The offensive line has to improve. Richardson's in concussion protocol, but man, he's getting the most out of that quarterback spot there with the Colts. And the Eagles have not been able to throw the ball around like they've been in the past. Not that they haven't been able to score, they have, but they haven't been as prolific in the first two games. Now, again, it's just two games.
And Hurts and AJ Brown, that's no big deal. That happens all the time. They had too much respect. They're high character guys.
Right.
Both of them are high character guys. They're not, listen, he's gonna go and tell the quarterback, give me some, I need something, I need to play. That's all. It was not a big deal. If they were pushing each other, yeah, I think you push your quarterback, yeah, that's wrong. But they're emotional. It's football, it's emotional, but they made a big deal out of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. I think both of those guys are both high character
It's no
guys.
big deal. They're
So,
they're both high character guys.
yeah, they're going after
Yeah,
it. They're going after it because they're
yeah.
competitors, not because they're trying to get there. So I think when AJ Brown says, get me the ball, it's because he really truly believes it's the best thing for the team, not just I need my statistics, which we've seen other
Yeah.
receivers have. Well, Cowboys snuffed out both New York teams. Bye bye. Now we're moving on to the Arizona Cardinals, um, who are 0-2, who have lost to two NFC East opponents. They lost a close game week 1 to the Commanders. In week 2, they were up big on the Giants and lost with a complete collapse in the second half, which might be by design. Where are you at with the Cowboys versus the Cardinals this week? Joshua Dobbs is that quarterback. He played them tough when he was with the Titans last year. What do they do this year? What's Dan Quinn have up his sleeve for him?
Well, they're going to do what they've been doing the first two games: ball control and take that front four and unleash to that quarterback. It's attack mode. That's what it is. Simple as that. There's no, it's
James Conner.
basically go play some football, do what you've been doing, hunt like the Lions, and that's it. And get the ball into the end zone, less field goals, more touchdowns. Mm-hmm.
Right. Joshua Dobbs has been mobile. The Cowboys in the first quarter have, they allowed Zach Wilson a 16-yard run. Daniel Jones ran a little bit on that first drive. It seems like after those first drives, they settle down and you're not mobile anymore. Like that pass rush gets to you with 5 guys and you have to beat somebody. They're spying you. James Conner is their big weapon. They run him, run him, run him. Well, he's going to find out this week what it's like running up against this Cowboys defense. The receivers, Marquise Brown, formerly Hollywood Brown, Michael Wilson, Rondale Moore, none of those guys strike the fear of God in me. Zach Ertz at tight end has been a good tight end in the league for years. J-Ron Curse is going to be plastered on him this week. And the defense, the all line, Paris Johnson at right tackle, he's still a rookie. He's going up against DeMarcus Lawrence. DJ Humphries, the excellent left tackle. He's going up against one of the best pass rushers in the NFL right now, the best players in the NFL. They have a world. They're in for a world of hurt, and the defense I think is no good. The Giants, as you could see, just ran all over them in the second half. But I will say this: Jonathan Gannon has these guys playing hard.
Yeah,
I've been impressed because everyone say, "Oh, they're tanking." Well, don't tell them because they may have lost 2 games, but they played 2 very close games, and they came out and played. Do I think they have a shot against the Cowboys? No, I don't. I'd probably bet the house on the Cowboys. But props to Jonathan Gannon for getting these guys out there and saying, you know what? We might not have the most talent in the world, but we'll fight, scratch, and claw until you literally beat us.
Yeah, you play who's on the schedule, you play the Jets, who had a quarterback who was his third year in the league. He had some starts, okay? And they don't want, is Jamison still in the league?
Jameson.
Winston?
Jameis Winston is a backup for the Saints.
Jamison, he's what?
He's still a backup for the Saints.
Is he really? Oh, okay.
I'm
Sorry.
surprised the Jets didn't make a move for him because, okay, Zach Wilson's going to turn the ball over. We get that. But he doesn't have the high end of he's
No.
not going to throw 3 touchdowns in a game. Jameis might throw interceptions, but he's also going to throw 3 touchdowns in a game. I think I'd rather bet on that than Zach Wilson. That's just me. And Jameis's contract is up. His contract's up after the year. So you're like, okay, 1 year, give him a few weeks and then let him get off the ground and go out there and sling the ball around. I'd rather have Jameis there. And also one more thing about the Cowboys and Jets. I know we're trying to move on. This team beat the Buffalo Bills last week. And everyone's like, oh, it's because of Josh Allen. Yes. And the defense made the takeaways. A very impressive defense made Josh Allen look like a Pop Warner quarterback, and they won the game because of defense and special teams, and the quarterback kept it close. They couldn't do that this week, and Dallas deserves all the props. I have my latest power rankings out on DesignateReport.com. I have Dallas right where you had them last week, number 1. I think they've played absolutely incredible football. Oh, they only played these guys. This isn't Alabama scheduling Sisters of the Poor to play, or a D3 team. They don't make the schedule. The schedule's made for them, and it's the way it goes. I'll tell you what, bring on the Cardinals, bring on the 49ers, bring on whoever else you got, because you're going to have to beat good teams, but this is a good team that other people are seeing on the schedule and saying, oh gosh, we have them coming. We're going to have to beat a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting week. I'm excited to see what's coming up. The Cardinals have a long way to go. I'll say that.
Yeah, they have a long way to go.
This is a team that good teams don't lose to. Good teams for years, you beat the bad teams and you play as hard as you can against the good teams. But the bad teams, you don't let off the hook. You can't let these guys off the hook. You got to come in, take care of the Cardinals, beat the snot out of them. This is a team where they should be able to run on them. And that's what you got to do. You have to impose your will and say, okay, well, this game's over first half. We'll just tidy things up in the second half and call it another week.
Well, you got the blueprint right there. The draftsman got the blueprint. You stick to the blueprint.
Yeah.
Don't add, don't subtract. Play good sound defense. You don't need a blitz. That front 4 dominates 5 men. The front 4 dominates 5 men. That's simple. So guess what? The rest guys can cover people and double people. You're not getting anything.
And now you have consistency in the coaching. You had Dan Quinn as a D coordinator who has been consistent since he's gotten there. Just absolutely.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys get a ring this year, he's going to be the guy that goes down in Cowboys lore that we talk about.
Yeah. I got you. Mm-hmm.
Well, Mike McCarthy has brought a consistency to the play calling offensively. Well, I can look at this team and I'm going to say, I can't have 3 and outs against these guys. And we're not going to get 3 and outs against these guys. How many times have Kellen Moore like, let's get something going. 3 and out, run, pass, run, pass. You're like, oh my gosh. Or pass, a low percentage pass on first down, a dive with Zeke on second down, and 3rd and long, Dak's got to bail us out. No, this is a team that's based off of yards after catch. They've been doing that. They're going to continue to do that, especially with Budda Baker, who's on IR now. Like this is the team that they just continue to do what they have to do. Now, we had talked about what the first 2 weeks for the Cowboys means for the rest of the league. What do you think it means for everybody else? And what does it mean for the Cowboys?
Well, they know it's a long season. They know they play the team in front of them, and that's what they concentrate. These coaches, both the coaches, and I know the other people said there's basically 2 head coaches on that squad, and I don't think McCarthy cares about the glory of it. He wants another ring, and him to get another ring from the Packers and now with Dallas, that's pretty rare. Okay, they want to win a Super Bowl. That's their goal. That's their goal. So whoever's in the way will be defeated. That's it.
Well, what it means to me for the rest of the league, what I think it means for the rest of the league is this ain't the same old Cowboys. This isn't a team that's built to be beaten in the playoffs. It's not a team that you can take lightly, and it's a team that you have to play your best game because they're not turning the ball over
Right.
and they're getting turnovers and they're getting, at the very least, pressure against the quarterback. Forget even sacks, which we know they get. Even them putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks makes life difficult for you. Yeah, sacks are the most important thing, and they're the sexy stat. Pressures affect passes. There was a play where Zach Wilson couldn't step up in the pocket and put it over to Garrett Wilson in the back left corner, even though he had the route against Trayvon Diggs. The Cowboys' front pressure doesn't allow him to make that pass. And guess what? Settling for 3 instead of getting 7.
That's right.
That's the thing again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
This offense can continue to just play as efficiently if they have, which they've been the most efficient offensive and defensive team since 2009. If they can do that offensively still, they put the pressure on the opposing teams to still have to try and throw. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Not the team, the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning were built so that Peyton would score and you'd have to try and get in a track race with them. And with Freeney and, oh my gosh, why did I forget their other defensive end's name? Oh,
what was his name? Yeah.
Oh, Robert Mathis.
Robert Mathis. They were awesome. Those guys are awesome. They were so awesome.
They built that Bob Sanders. They built the defense so that you would have to get.
It was a Tampa too.
Yes, they built you. You would have to throw against them, and they would unleash their pass rushers and be ready in the secondary, and that's how they got a Super Bowl. The thing is, if you could keep them in the game and be able to run against them, you'd keep the offense off the field, and they weren't physical enough defensively to stop you. And that's Brady would use that. They used the short passing game effectively as a running game, but Gronk would kill those guys. And they were too physical earlier in the years. In the earlier years, the defense was so physical they literally had to change the rules. The Cowboys, they can beat you with the run, they can beat you with the pass, and the defense, you're getting coverage sacks now because guys, there's no one open, and you're getting just pure pressure sacks where defenders are just beating guys off the line. Like they're just straight up. There's nothing else you can do. Micah Parsons, they line him up inside, outside, upside down. It don't matter. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, they're being coached both sides of the ball,
and you've seen improvement week after week, year after year, and I'm shocked as to how good some of these players are that come in. Tyler Bass and Asim Richard just played this week. They were fine. They were totally fine.
Who were?
TJ Bass, Tyler Bass.
Oh yeah, DJ, yeah.
Bass a kicker. TJ Bass came in left guard, and Asim Richard came in a left guard later.
Yeah, that's right, Richard. Yeah.
You know what? They played tremendously well. There wasn't a big drop off. Listen, Quinnen Williams is Quinnen Williams. He's an all-pro D tackle. He got the best Bass a couple of times. That's his first game play, so I'm okay with that because that's your third. That's not your backup guard. That's your backup guard, and then your backup guard comes in, and he still plays fine.
Yeah.
So overall, Cowboys are in good shape. Now, the new release of Hall of Fame nominees came out. There's 8 Cowboys on the 2024 Hall of Fame nominee list. We're going to go through it and say, just let me know what you think if they're Hall of Fame worthy. Number 1 is Tony Romo.
247 and 110, they're great numbers. What was he got? 30,000 passing yards? I don't know.
4,000, yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he is a 4-time Pro Bowler. He is a Super Bowl short. If he had won the Super Bowl because he's so well liked, probably would have gotten in. The game and the catch, Des makes the catch, and they call it incomplete.
Yeah.
And injuries definitely cut it short for him.
Right.
If he had been able to play instead of Dak in that first year, maybe he gets in.
Yeah.
He's just short. Next is going to be what I would almost term a specialist, fullback Daryl Johnston. If you're going to start to me, if you're going to start to vote in kick returners, punt returners, kickers, well, fullback position, this is the guy. Like he's the fullback to make it. I mean, Daryl Johnston to me is, you're going to say Hall of Fame fullbacks, is like him, Mike Allstott, like Lorenzo Neal. These are the guys who would make it as fullbacks.
They were great at their position and stuff. If you're going to start doing fullbacks, yes, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, without it, no, he doesn't get in. But
Right.
he's the one of the biggest reasons.
Yeah.
Emmett has his title.
Yeah.
Next, Eric Williams. If it wasn't for a car accident, it's quite possible he's probably the best offensive lineman in Cowboys history.
Yeah.
4 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros, and he dominated Reggie White.
He made Reggie White scared. End of story.
He wasn't just good, he was great. Again, another guy who won't make it, but man, he was awesome. Next up, Mark Stepnoski, center for the Cowboys in those 90s teams. He's got his own rings. I think he's a little short. He did make 5 straight Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
It's not like he was good. He's borderline. Right. He's borderline with 5 straight.
Yeah. Was he ever All-Pro?
I do not think he was All-Pro.
It's strange how he never made All-Pro because they had Dawson.
Monty Dawson and Jesse Sapullo, I think, for the
49ers. Yeah. Those guys were
great centers. Yeah. They're great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but still.
But he was 5-time Pro Bowler. Yeah.
5 straight Pro Bowls, and he was a wrestler. He knew how to get in the right position.
Yep.
Next up, guard Nate Newton, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champion. I think he's pretty close. I think a 6-time Pro Bowl he made 2 All-Pro teams. 6 All-Pros is that's right at the number where you could go either way.
How many times he's made All-Pro?
2 All-Pro teams.
Okay.
He might be 1 short on each if he made another All-Pro, another Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
He's great. I think he's borderline, but I think he misses out. Right. But again, I would just like to say, if Tony Baselli made the Hall of Fame, Nate Newton deserved to make the Hall of Fame. Tony Baselli did not deserve to make the Hall of Fame. Next up is Leroy Glover. He made 2 Pro Bowls in New Orleans and then went to 4 straight with Dallas, so that's 6. He was a wrecking ball as a defensive tackle and a physical freak at that nose tackle position.
How many All-Pros did he make?
Let's see.
3. Just 3.
3?
Yeah.
Roy Glover. Yeah, he was 3-time 4-time All-Pro, first team All-Pro once, 3-time second team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowl. That's, I don't know, that's a guy who that's a good resume. That's a great resume to make the Pro Bowl.
He was at 285. He was incredible technique. Him and John Randall were awesome.
Unbelievable.
Those guys are incredible.
And so last 2, we've got linebacker Ken Norton Jr. I don't think he's quite there.
No.
Man, he was the heart and soul of a defense.
He was a Landry pick.
He was great, man. He was nasty. And listen, goes out and wins the Super Bowl with the 49ers. He won 3 straight Super Bowls. Cowboys, 49ers. 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowl. He was a phenomenal player. And the last one is someone who I hope makes it in, Darren Woodson. 3 straight All-Pro teams, 5 straight Pro Bowls, leads the Cowboys in tackles all time. I know, maybe one of our personal favorites. I think he's one of those guys where because of his work in the media, he might end up getting voted in, but we'll see. But
you're talking about, if you're talking about a likable guy, he's a likable guy.
A+ of human being as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. We talked about the Jets. We talked about the Cardinals. We talked about the Hall of Fame and what the Cowboys are looking at for the rest of the year as far as the league thinks. We have under 3 minutes left. Do you want to dedicate this one to anybody?
I was thinking about who dedicated to. I think we understand it seemed like everybody's under pressure. I have some coworkers who are teachers. They're going through some tough times in these schools nowadays. It's very tough to be a teacher. You look around for support. They get all the support possible what the system allows, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So all my coworker teachers, a shout out to them. And I hope and pray for them every night. You know this, you know who they are. I pray the Lord will help them get
Yeah.
some relief.
I'm going to shout out. I don't know if you know this. My offensive line coach, John Marulo, passed away a couple days ago.
John Murillo, I don't know who
Marulo
that
was
is.
detective with Danbury Police Department for years. He was a coach at Denver High School. He graduated
Oh, I
Denver
didn't
High
know
in
that.
1964. And yeah, great guy. He
Yeah.
will be missed. Even
Send me a
back,
picture to make sure I know who it is.
yeah, you'll know who he is. He was short. He always wore shorts and never wore socks. And he had a hat and like a gray. You'll know exactly who it is once I send it to you. He was a great guy. He'll be dearly missed by those of
Hmm.
us who played for him. Um, Coach, we love you. We'll be thinking about you. And he had battled cancer for years, and it was not cancer that he ended up passing away from. So his family is
Hmm.
they're relieved that he fought and won, and that's typical of
Hmm.
who he is, just tough as nails.
All right, please send me the picture.
Yeah. This goes out to
I'm
Coach
sorry I don't remember.
Don Murillo and his family. So we love you, Coach. Thank you for everything. So listen, it's been another great episode, D. I love you.
Love
Uh,
you.
let's have a great rest of our week, and then
I'm planning to come down for a little Bible study.
all right, hey, we'll see you
Yeah.
tomorrow then. All right, everybody. God bless you. We love you. Talk to you
Yeah.
soon. Go Cowboys. Find us on Designated Report on YouTube. Find us wherever. The Cowboys and Coffee Podcast. Talk to you later. Peace.
Peace.